Welcome back, my name's Steve and thank you for joining me today on my photography journey. Today we're going to talk about light. It's not something that I know much about, but it's something that I am finding more and more important. It's something that in photography and video can make or break a scene. So for example, what you can see at the moment, I've got a big window just up here. I've got a light down here facing me, and I've got a light off to the side as well, which is also filling in kind of the background and all this light that you can see on this side. So let me, as a starting point, let's turn some of these off so that we can see what it looks like differently. So we'll talk about video first, just because that's where I am, that's what I'm doing at the moment. And then we'll talk more about light in photography. And for that, I mainly want to talk about things for product photography and also woodland photography, because those are the two things that I do most. So as you may know, it is currently, well, you probably know, it is currently November, middle of November, and in the UK, the clock's changed a couple of weeks ago now, meaning that it's a lot darker in the evening. So by 5 o'clock it's dark, the lights are on. So anything that I'm filming or photographing in my office, which is where I am at the moment, will look completely different compared to how it looked at the same time a couple of months ago. This changes how I have to light the pictures, this changes how I have to position things and just how I work basically, and the editing that comes along afterwards. So I just wanted to talk a bit about it, and let's have a look now. So let me turn off the light that was in front of me and then back on, and then we'll turn off the light that's to the side of me and then back on, and that one you can see makes quite a big difference. So those two lights are from ELGATO. They are the Key Light Air, I believe, the slightly smaller one, but not the tiny one. And they are set to 5600 Kelvin, which is daylight essentially. And the one in front of me is set to, let's just check, 10%. And then the one off to the side is set to 100%. So let's bring that one down slightly. So then that's kind of a better balance, I think. It's not quite so light, but also, like I said, I've got a big window up here, and currently, something that's very strange in the UK in November, there is a clear blue sky and the sun is shining. So there's a lot of natural light coming in. I've left the blind open, and that just gives a bit more daylight coming in. I like it being lighter in here. So as well as that, I also have, what I'm looking down at now is Philips Hue. So I've got some bulbs and some light strips. So in here, I can add those in as well. So let's start off with this. So you can't really see too much of a difference there. Let me turn off the ELGATO lights, and that is now as bright as the Philips Hue bulbs go. So one thing to mention is that they're currently set to blue, so you can just see up in this corner that little bit of ceiling. I'm in my loft, that's where my office is, so the ceiling's sloping down, and that bit of ceiling that you can see just up there will change color as I am changing the color of the lights. So let's go for a more pinky color, and yep, you can see just over there that color changes there. So I like a more kind of dark blue. You might have guessed that blue could well be my favorite color, and that is the color I kind of like in the background for accents. You can see just on the bottom of the microphone here, it's a bit of blue light coming in there, and also when there's things in the background, so this tape that you can see on this side there, that is also the light coming up from underneath in kind of that blue color. So let me turn all of the lights back on, and this is kind of how I normally have it. So obviously this is video, that's completely different to how I would set things up for photography. When I'm taking photos in the office, they tend to be for kind of product photography or of me. Generally speaking, if it's me, I'll be sat here at my desk and facing the camera, or because it's not the biggest room, I need to get some kind of plain background in order to make some nice headshots, and to have a good background. But that's a project for the future, and definitely something that I will be looking into, but just not quite yet. So product photography in here tends to be done just behind the camera at the moment. I've got some white shelves, and as you can see on here, they've also got Philips Hue bulbs as well, and they are where I tend to do the product photography. So in this example, I've just got my Blue Yeti, and let's take some pictures of it, and I want to show you how I set it up, what I do with the lighting, and then the different options that I've got. As I said, I've only got these few lights. Lighting is definitely something that is on my list of things to purchase, but so far, because I've been mainly filming and photographing during the summer this year, it's not been that big a deal. So as we're now in autumn, heading towards winter, everything's much darker, so I need to put a bit more effort into my lighting, I think. So let's have a look at that now. So here we go. You can see my setup for the product photography here, and this is just a microphone that I've got lying around. It's the Blue Yeti. I use this quite a lot, and I've always quite liked it, but I know it's not got the best reputation, but I quite like it. It sounds good for me, and it was nice and cheap and straightforward to use, so it got me started in having a decent microphone. But this is what I tend to use for my product photography area. So let me just zoom in here, and you can see the microphone on there, and basically I've got some Philips Hue bulbs along the top. You can see them just there, and I can obviously change the color of those. I've got them set to a nice purple at the moment, but let's go for more of a on-brand kind of blue. But as you can see the actual bulbs in here, which isn't ideal. But if we go in just slightly, we then kind of get that blue look in there. I have also got an ELGATO Key Light Air, and that is just below the camera at the moment. So if I move this around, you'll see things changing. So here's the light itself, but I can move that off to the side to give me more shadows, moving it further away, and just that's something that I can move around, turning on and off, making brighter, darker, depending on how I want the image to look. So it's a very simple setup. I do find it works quite well. I can change the brightness of the Philips Hue lights as well, and so we could have those entirely off and everything just lit with the ELGATO light. Let me just move that back in here. So then that gives us a very different kind of lighting again. So let's try something else. So a bit of green there from the Philips Hue lights. And just remember, you can look back at the other videos that I've made about photography and join me on the rest of my photography journey. There's a playlist that I'll link up here, and that will go into the detail on ISO, on shutter speed, and on the rest of the exposure triangle, so that when we're talking about the lighting and things on here, you get that kind of background information that might be needed in order to get the most from it, really. Hello, and I've received a package, and this is a new light from ULANZI. It was a bargain on Amazon, so I thought I would buy it and see what it's like. And I've just opened it up, and I will be using it in some videos. And as you can see, it's varies in color. It's a RGB light, and it is also well, it's got different effects as well. It's always good. But basically it is a video light so that I can use it for lighting my videos and my product photography. So it doesn't look too bad, does it? There's my microphone. Shine it onto the background and things and on me. So this is probably a little bit harsh lighting, but it's yeah. So this is my new toy. I'm gonna take a few pictures using it now and see what it looks like. So let's have a look at that now. So then let's have a look at these comparisons. So first of all, we've got a blue light, the ULANZI on the left and the Hue on the right. I mean, the colors are obviously a bit different, but actual spread of the color is bigger in the ULANZI one. I think there's more power behind the bulbs. And then this one is a purple one. And again, I think it's just the intensity of the color which is more noticeable with the ULANZI compared to the Philips Hue. So yes, they both work well, and the combination of them I think is what will make the biggest difference. So I can have light from the top, light from the side, or wherever I want to put the ULANZI one, and that is how I'm going to use it. So yes, this is the ULANZI VL49 RGB. It's got plenty of connectors so that you can attach it to your camera. It's magnetic, so for example that's attached to my MagSafe charger, and it's one of those things that could be quite useful. So even just having it on my desk makes a bit of a difference to this shot. And the idea is, I mean, this was £30 I think it was. I'll leave a link down below, and this is kind of a nice small battery powered, it's rechargeable with USB-C, and it's going to be something that I'm going to use quite often, particularly for product photos. And as you saw, it does quite a good job, particularly in the setup that I've got, and I think it'll be really useful as a light for my videos as well. So let me just put this back to daylight. Let's not have it quite so bright. So this is 5600 Kelvin, that's 60% brightness, and that's on the mount at the side there. So you can now see all that light coming in on the side there. Is probably a little bit too much to be honest, but it works quite nicely for this demonstration. And then let's change that to more blue light. Again, you can see that coming in at the side there. I've got the Philips Hue light strip at the back, which is also blue. So that's kind of the vibe that you should be getting with this image. And that's my new addition. So I'll be, like I said, testing this out, using it in product shots and things like that. So look out on my Instagram, and I will do a little bit of an update soon on how I found it and what I'm using it for. And what is good about it is it's got a mount on the bottom, so you can attach it to a light stand. You can attach it with a cold shoe, and then also if you put it on top of your camera, you still got the attachments up at the top here, so that you don't have to lose out on that attachment point on your camera. So you can have this on and then add a microphone on top, for example, or lights. It's magnetic, and the fact that it's so versatile, it fits onto my GorillaPod. So if we put it onto here, then you can see that I now have a portable light. Thank you for watching this video today. I hope you learned something about lighting. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It's always good to hear from you in the comments. And I'll be back again next week, so I will see you then. So have a great week. Bye.